went and I found a definition because that's one of the places I like to start. So, according to the Oxford Language Dictionary, it's a genre of fiction characterized by disturbing, violent, or bleak subject matter in a dystopian setting. Although they did add, according to their dictionary, that it was more common in fantasy, which I disagree with. I think there are just as many sci-fi settings with the advent of like Warhammer 40K at all. So I don't know that I buy the fantasy preference, but the Grimdark definition, is everyone mostly okay with that definition? Want to add, subtract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, to a large degree. It misses one abstract, the freedom of nihilism, the ability to, in a grimdark kind of situation, create your own morality.
Okay. And you think that's
I think that's a significant factor in why people like it.
okay. I don't think in prepping for this, it's not my normal genre that I read. So I did a lot of like prep work for this, and nobody actually mentioned that concept of nihilism as a contributing factor to both the pros and the.
It's grandson of. It's not true nihilism.
Okay.
In Nietzsche sense, but it has that appeal of saying the rules don't apply, therefore the rules can be broken because the anti-hero is right anyhow and the situation's so bad it doesn't matter. And that's a sense of freedom when you're thinking about it or writing about it. Your character can be evil and nasty and he's still appropriate a hero.
Okay. Abby, Matt, do you want to add to that? Are you okay with that addition to the definition?
No, I mean, I think Bill makes a good point. Flip the coin over. I think the most frequent criticism that gets leveled at Grimdark as a genre is the nihilism. And people like, I just can't handle the, that there's no good, there's no evil. It's just might makes right. So it is very liberating, but I think it depends on your taste. I mean, there are a lot of folks that level that criticism against it for that very reason.
It's not always might makes right. I mean, it could also be the smartest one wins.
That's
okay.
Fair.
That's a form of might. I'm a 5'5" guy who was in the merit finalists in the 60s. I had to win that way, but it's might.
That's fair. Yep.
So is it a possibility of a hopeful ending and it still could be Grimdark, or would the hopeful ending at the end pivot it out of the genre of Grimdark fiction?
I would love to know that because I never know if I should categorize my own series as Grimdark or not for that reason. Yeah.
I think for me, what characterizes the genre isn't so much that knowing that it's going to end badly, much less that it's going to end well, but that there is a very realistic chance and probability that it could end very badly. In other words, that your main character or main characters in this, they are all fair game, and any one of them could eat it at any point in the story for maybe any reason. So you contrast it with sort of the classic high fantasy where you get to the final battle scene and it's the main character strides under the camera and buckle on the plot armor and don the meat shields. We're going to the final battle and we all know he's going to win, he's going to be fine. I think for me, what characterizes the genre is that you just don't know. It might end up fine and dandy at the end, but it just as well might not.
I've always seen the Grimdark I've read as being almost derivative of the Viking sagas, especially the Icelandic sagas, where their universe is a Grimdark universe. They're going to lose. Ragnarok is a defeat by the giants. You know this already, and all you can do is prepare for it. So it gives you a lot of moral laxity in the meantime, which they did take advantage of historically, and it meant that you didn't have to win, you just had to lose with style to be a famous Viking, basically.